Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Linton. Thank you so much for being here on time too. All right. I think we want to get started. And so we can sort of, and as people, I guess, come in, we'll do what we need to do. Okay. And I want to make sure it's 7:05. So my name is Hassan Bakruddin, and I'm the Commerce Committee Chair for and I
Sorry.
certainly appreciate everybody who's yes.
Someone says she can't hear you.
Oh, she can't hear me? Can
Yes,
everyone else hear me?
I can now. Thanks, Hazel. I can now.
Oh, you can now.
Yes.
Okay.
I had to
Okay.
go out and come back
Can
in.
somebody mute? Okay, can somebody mute the background noise in the background so we can, whoever that is? Okay, great. So yes, well, thank you so much again.
This is
Here
Miss Bellin. I'm sorry
time
about the
and,
noise. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, Miss Bellin, I can hear you now. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here as well. Okay. And it's nice to have you back, by the way. It's been a little while since we haven't seen you, but thanks so much for being here. All right, so let's get started, guys. So as I mentioned, my name is Hassan Bakruddin. I am the Commerce Committee Chair for
Can you hear
Community
me,
Board
sir?
17. Yes,
Mr.
I
Hassan,
can
I
hear
was
you.
away on the
But
detail.
about
I was on the detail for my job. I just got back.
yes, you had to mention that. Yeah, you did mention that. Yes, ma'am. Okay, no problem. Not a problem. Glad to have you back, though. Let's start with our meeting, and I'm hoping that everyone hears me now, because I know we were having some technical difficulties. This is not one of my favorite tools to use. I always like to use Zoom or Teams. Maybe in the future we can switch over when it comes to next.
You are breaking up.
So like I said, I'm the commerce. I'm breaking up. I am. I'm breaking up. Okay. Hang on a minute. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to let me just take off my camera because I think that might be the issue. I hope it's not that I have to come back in again. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try and continue on. So, I'm the Commerce Committee Chair for Community Board 17, and it is now 7:08 on March 18th, and I want to thank everybody for being here, particularly Mr. Julian Linton, who is from Club Julian's this evening. And I want to make sure that we get started on time and everything. So if we could do a quick roll call just for the books, that would be good. So if you can briefly unmute yourself and just identify who you are, that would be great. I think we can start with Jean Gomes.
I'm Jean Gomez.
Yes, Gomez. All right. Next up,
George State Committee Member.
okay, Hazel.
Hazel Martinez, Committee Member.
Okay, Sonia.
Sonia Clark, Committee Member.
All right, and Ms. Bellin, which you already said you were there, so thank
Yes.
you, Ms. Bellin.
Yes, I'm present.
And we got yes, and then we have Sarah, who is on. She'll be on and off, but she's having some issues with her her internet as well. So it was. Of course, we have our speaker, like Joshua Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham.
Hassan, I'm also on. I'd also like to say I'm present. Marguerite, board member, committee member.
Marguerite, I didn't even see you here. Awesome.
Yep.
Hi, this is
Awesome.
David Boatswain.
And Mr. Cunningham, sorry, say that again. You said.
Oh, sorry, this is David. No, sorry, David Boatswain. I wasn't sure if you saw me on the list. Committee member.
Okay. No, I didn't see you. Okay, got you, David. Yeah, I didn't see you. You know, I tell you, we're having such problems today with this Zoom because I actually took my camera.
This is
And,
definitely not Zoom.
Yeah, and sorry, pardon me, the WebEx, pardon me. Yes, it's definitely not Zoom. So, I mean, WebEx is really giving us a hard time this evening. I don't know what happened, but I'm hoping that you guys all hear me. That's the most important, okay? And I think that's the most. Mr. Cunningham, could you unmute yourself, sir, if you can, and just identify yourself for the record?
Yes, Asher Cunningham.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so I think I got all of our.
And this is Fatima Mohammed. I'm community board member and
Hey,
committee
Fatima.
member.
All right, hey, Fatima.
Hey, Hassan, Detective Skinner.
All right, am I missing? Hey, Detective Skinner, how are you, sir? All right, and I think, have I missed anyone? Did I miss anyone?
I had Dan McCabe
No?
here.
Hey, Dan, how are you? I didn't
Everything
see you
is
there
good.
either. Good. All right. Anyone else? Anyone? Okay. I think that we definitely have gotten everyone. If at some point if you pop in, just when we take a quick pause, just point out that you're here, and I'll certainly acknowledge you as well. So, thank you guys for doing the roll call. I want to get to the chairperson's report very, very quickly because we do have some updates before we get to our special guest speaker for this evening. So, we do have some updates on our scheduled on-site visits to Lips Cafe and Aunts and Uncles, which was actually supposed to be happened on March 17th, which was this past Monday. Both Lips and Aunts and Uncles weren't unable to do it at that time. What had happened was I had told them, I had reached out to them probably on Friday, and then reached out to them again on Sunday afternoon, just confirming that we were going to be there, and they didn't respond. I guess they were pretty busy, so they responded after the fact, after we were supposed to be there, because I think we were supposed to be there at both 10 a.m. at Lips Cafe and 11 at Aunts and Uncles. So neither one of them were able to meet. So they rescheduled for this Thursday, which is March 20th, at 10 a.m. for Lips Cafe and 11 a.m. for Aunts and Uncles. So if anyone wants to, head over with us on that on-site visit, please feel free. It is open. I just wanted to let you guys know that there has been an update on that. Any questions there really quick before we move on? Okay. Also wanted to mention, we had to push back the business networking breakfast for March. I'll tell you why. A couple of things did happen. One, there was a delay in obviously getting the date for March because it has to go to committee and all this stuff. And you guys know I've been talking about this since January. Actually, even before that. So we're probably going to have to push it back in April. April 2025, and also the business owners, the businesses who would have provided breakfast, in this case Footprints, they were unable to meet the date. So as of right now, I just got some dates from Alicia Goodridge at SUNY Downstate for the business networking breakfast. So she mentioned all of the mornings so far in April are April 7th through 11th are open. April 14th to the 18th are open. The 22nd, the 23rd, and the 30th. So all of those dates are open for the morning from 8:30, pardon me, to 11 a.m., which is when the business networking breakfast should be take place. My feeling is we should do it further in the month of April, just as an FYI, everybody, because it gives us a lot more chance to organize, as you know. So if we can do it perhaps either the 23rd or, no, the 23rd is the third Wednesday. So we'll probably have to do it the 30th, I'm thinking, looking at this, which is a Wednesday. Yeah. I mean, that's what I recommend anyway. Actually, no, the 23rd is the fourth Wednesday of the month. That's right. Okay, so there's 5 weeks in April. Okay, so maybe either the 23rd or the 30th. I hope either of those dates work for everybody. It would probably be during, of course, it's a morning situation. So I will reach out to Alicia and perhaps tomorrow about the final date. But if you guys, unless you guys have a more preferred date, the 23rd or the 30th, let me know. But I would prefer to push it back as far as we could towards the end of the month, because it gives us time to contact all our agency representatives so they can be out there making sure that we make, which is the important also piece is food. We have to make sure we contact our, our vendors to be able to provide food for us, as well as our elected officials and all that. So kind of what I'm thinking, but I'm thinking tentatively April 30th. If anybody else has any other questions about that, or if you really are not set on that date, please let me know. Also, we should be starting work on the Sumptuous Sampler event in June 2025. You guys know it is March. If we don't get starting on this now, it'll be really a heck of a time to push this through. So I just wanted to mention that, as well as East Flappers Restaurant Week. And I did reach out to Tracy Cameron at K&L Manor. So she's looking to see if the date, which I think we had the date, I'm sorry, let me just take a look at the date really quick for that. The date I think we were looking at was, I think we were looking at we were looking at June 30th, which is a Monday after all. Yeah, it's a Monday. So it's the end of the month, and that's the date that I think that I had asked her about. And then East Flappers Restaurant Week would be the week starting from July 1st through, I think, July 12th. I think that's kind of what it is. All right, so I just want to mention that as well. Also, another update. Remember we were talking about doing a small business expo, and I think I mentioned to you that I had some conversations with Hercules Reed, who at that time was the Brooklyn Borough director. Well, he's since moved on. I think his focus is primarily in youth at the mayor's office, and because we were waiting, both Daniel Heradia, who works for Councilmember Lewis, and I were waiting on him to get back to us, but he moved out of that piece, and now there's a new gentleman, Nick. His name is Pierre Gideon, and we're going to be talking. I'll be talking to him this week about perhaps how we can set this small business expo up over the next couple of months, okay, and squeeze that in. Lastly, we had to reschedule the walkthroughs that you guys know for Utica Avenue, so it'll be Utica Avenue from Avenue G all the way to Church Avenue, and then the walkthrough for Church Avenue from Utica and Church all the way over to East 43rd. So we're looking to reschedule for March 26th, the walkthrough on Utica Avenue, and then the walkthrough for Church Avenue would possibly be on April 2nd, 2025. Okay, so
Hassan, can I just interrupt for a second?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm always interrupting. How come the Utica one is from Avenue D up instead of from Farragut up? Because we have those 2 blocks that are all auto body shops, and we need a lot of interaction with them.
Yeah, and what I did was, because I used the metric of starting at Farragut, we've done a lot with, obviously, with those 2 businesses on the corner. We have not spoken to any of those shops. That is true. Right. So maybe we actually can start. We'll start, simply because we'll skip over both Lily's Restaurant and Bamboo Walk, but we'll hit all of the other businesses on that strip. So I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. So I can change the location to go all the way down from Farragut all the way down to Church. That's not a problem for me.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, great. So that's that, and that actually ends my report. I know it was a lot, guys. My apologies, but there were just a few updates that I wanted to make sure that I got through. Are there any questions with that? Okay, so hearing no questions, and I want to thank you for that. I want to see if we have quorum, which I'm not sure that we do yet. Hang on a minute, because the next item on our agenda is approving our minutes for February 2025.
Yeah, Hassan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I raised my hand. I also put in the chat. Just wanted to do. I'm not available. I will not be available on the April 23rd, because as you know, that's the fourth Wednesday. And the fourth Wednesday of the month, I am at Borough Hall in the morning.
Okay. Okay, great, no problem. Thanks, George, for that. I appreciate that. Okay, awesome. This is weird. I'm not seeing. Okay. And sorry, guys.
I think we lost a son. We've lost Hassan.
I can't hear him.
Hello.
There you go.
Hi, guys. Sorry. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. I got kicked completely out. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, Cheryl, I see that you have joined us as well. And let me just, before I go on and bring on Mr. Cunningham, I want to make sure that I have everybody that I need to see here. Hang on. There's a 347 ending in 70. Whose number is that?
Isn't that Ellen?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Sir.
Okay, Ms. Bellin. Great.
Yes,
All right.
1570 is Belen.
Great. Okay. And there's a Deidre Lovell.
Yes, hi, good evening. How are you?
Hi, good evening. Hi. Deidre, where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure, I'm Deidre. Oh, let me turn on my camera. Hey, I'm part
Okay.
of Knowledge Daycare over on Ocean Avenue.
Hey there.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're just joining the meeting tonight just to kind of listen in, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. I was just making sure that you were not one of the businesses that was here tonight. Okay, great. All right. I see Mr. Patrick Agard is on. I just want to make a note of that. Good evening, Mr. Patrick Agard.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
All right. And I think that is it. Okay. So, Farah, do we have quorum? I think we do. Hang on a minute. Let's just see. Hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we do. Okay. Yes, we do. So, with that being said, can I get someone to? I have someone on the committee make a motion to accept our minutes for February. Oh, by the way, let me step back a bit. First of all, have everybody received the minutes? I guess I should have asked that first. Have we all received the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Have you guys all read them as well? Because that's always an important question.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So can I get someone from the committee to make a motion to accept our minutes for February?
This is Martinez. Can I just say that there needs to be a correction on
Yes.
something?
Oh, you can. Absolutely. Sure. What's that? Hazel.
In the chairperson's report, where it says Councilmember Farrell Lewis's office, I don't know, will have or be hosting a Black History celebration. It's either one or the other. Will have or
Right.
will be hosting.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
All right, good. Is that the only correction, Hazel?
As far as I could see.
All right, great. So with that being said, can you amend your motion to accept the minutes?
Well, I didn't really make a motion, but I make a motion that the minutes be accepted as amended.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Can I get a second, please?
George say seconds.
Okay, great. Hazel, I was just like, there's an old saying called voluntold. So I was volunteering you for making a motion. So sorry. I was trying to get through that, but thank you guys for that. Appreciate it. And so let's move right on. So I'm pretty excited about our guest speaker this evening, Mr. Ashur Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham, some of you, our community board members know him. Of course, he is a community board member, and he has served as first vice chair in different capacities as well on the community board for many years. And he is now currently the VP of Community Manager at JP Morgan Chase. And I want him to sort of take us and open up his presentation because I'm very excited about hearing what he has to offer. We've got our business owners on too. So, Mr. Cunningham, you, sir, are up.
Thank you so much, Hassan, and good evening to everyone. I'm excited to be on tonight because, again, as Hassan mentioned, I am a community board member, and so I've honestly seen the work that we've done over the last few years and have been advocating for the community in many respects. But again, taking on a new role here at JP Morgan Chase as Vice President Community Manager in Flatbush. I'm sure the role to many of us may be very new because the role is in fact a new role with JP Morgan Chase. In Brooklyn, there are 5 community managers, and in Flatbush, which I cover, all of Flatbush, so we're talking about East Flatbush, all the way up to the lines of Brownsville. But in Brooklyn, all community managers do work together. We have a community manager in Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, and there are 2 others at 2 different ends of Brooklyn. But in 2020, JP Morgan Chase made a commitment to communities, to underserved communities, hence why this role was created, and hence why this role is within the Flatbush community. I'm not sure how much many of us know that Brooklyn actually has one of the largest population of underbanked people within New York City. So Brooklyn comes first. Well, actually, Brooklyn follows the Bronx with the numbers of underbanked individual. Hence why we really focus on Brooklyn when we talk about serving the underbanked population and also ensuring that community managers are within these regions. So in 2020, the commitment was made to communities, underserved communities. $30 billion was invested into these communities. In fact, that $30 billion has already been spent, and JP Morgan has already exceeded that commitment. However, the commitment is still here, and it's still here to stay. We know that, diversity, equity, and inclusion, those initiatives has been in the media. We're still very much committed to ensuring that communities of color is served. But the focus when we talk about from a community manager perspective and this $30 billion racial equity commitment has been focused on home ownership and improving small businesses and businesses, particularly within communities of color. And so that's part of what my role encompasses. And I partner with a lot of the other One Chase partners. So this is a new term that many of us may not know within the world of Chase, where we are not working particularly in silos. There are many different roles, but all of these roles do come as one. There's a home lending expert, there are small business experts, you have your regular bankers, but the community manager is meant to be the connector for communities for all of these resources. But we also focus really on improving financial health within communities. So within our branches, all over Flatbush and within Brooklyn, you would see that community managers are leading financial health workshops. So at our Flatbush branch, which is my base, I lead 2 monthly financial health workshops that will be on many different topics. We also partner with nonprofits and businesses to actually bring these financial health workshops into their spaces as well, because we believe that if communities of color is going to move forward and be wealthy individuals, we have to first start with the mind and basically educating individuals about best financial practices. Hence why we lead financial health workshop within our branches, but we also partner with nonprofits and businesses to bring financial health into their spaces. But I'm sure you're going to ask what is in this particularly for you? There are so many different resources that JP Morgan is committed to rolling out for communities. Hence why, again, this racial equity commitment, hence why the role community manager. Again, one of those things that was readily available was the Advancing Black Pathways initiative. That's one of the initiatives that was rolled out after 2020, but also a new program that is available, Coaching for Impact, which is a program that is designed particularly for businesses, where our business experts lead and coach business owners really on the best practices and really ways that they can grow and scale their businesses so they can reach a place of wealth and also success. So the Coaching for Impact is one of the programs that are available, and therefore I am one of those individuals who connect our communities to a lot of these resources. And also another one that I think is extremely beneficial for our demographic is the Supplier Diversity Initiative. That is where JP Morgan is committed to connecting local businesses to becoming suppliers within the world of JP Morgan. As you know, before, maybe a lot of the large contracts were going to people who knew that they could become contractors for JP Morgan. So we're talking about someone who probably would be a photographer or maybe a restaurant owner. They didn't know that maybe they could just simply put their name within the system. And if there is ever a need, JP Morgan will first connect with them to become a supplier to service the business. So these are some of the initiatives that are available within the world of JP Morgan from the community manager perspective, and particularly from the racial equity commitment. One of the things that is also available is when we talk about the world of community managers and part of this commitment within the United States. In fact, we again have hired over 170 community managers across the country. Again, in Brooklyn, there are 5, but in Brooklyn, we also have one of the only community centers that is within New York. We actually have 2. Brooklyn has one and the Bronx has another. And within the community centers, this is a space that is meant to be a community space. So it's actually within the bank on Fulton Avenue. If you would have known Restoration Plaza, there was a Chase Bank within Restoration Plaza. There's a new bank that is not too far, and that is our first and only community center within Brooklyn. And it is a space that we're actually encouraging nonprofits and businesses to utilize. It's a space where you can hold maybe meetings, seminars, conferences, and in fact, I've actually been to that space and have seen a few events happening at that space, and they have been amazing. So connecting with your local community manager means that you would have access to these spaces as well. Again, these are some of the ways that we can partner together. And I'm looking forward to working with many of you on this call, working with your businesses, connecting you with some of our local One Chase partner. Again, our One Chase partners are our home lending experts, our business experts, and we have some amazing people on staff who can really service many of your needs. Again, part of our goal is to see communities like ours, people moving towards owning homes, people moving towards creating businesses, and people moving towards creating wealth. So that's, I guess, in a nutshell, what this initiative, the community manager and the commitment does, and our racial equity commitment does. So yeah, if there are any questions, I'm here to hear you and answer them for you. Thank you, Hassan.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Cunningham. That was great. And before I open up the questions to the committee members, and even obviously our business owners who are on, can you talk a little bit about the lending piece? I know you touched on it a little bit. You know, oftentimes, and this has certainly happened in commerce, where a lot of our small business owners, when we do on-site visits, when we're talking to them one-on-one, the obviously the notion of lending comes up when they might be looking at capital improvements, expanding their business, maybe opening up a second or third location. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys have to offer those small businesses right now?
So one of the things, so again, I am one of the connectors. We typically, community managers do not sell. So I won't answer particularly about what we have to offer because that would be going on the grounds of selling a product. So we're usually there to just talk about the general, our work and what we do. However, I am able to connect a lot of the small businesses and the business owners to our business experts who are able to answer many of those questions. And again, we have particular business expert and home lending experts who are actually hired particularly to serve communities like ours. In fact, I would talk before 2020, we had home lending experts who were serving communities, but if you know anything about home lending or the housing market, usually home lending experts would work with people who they knew who could give them that sale. In fact, after this commitment came in, we have hired experts who are actually stationed, and we have them here in Flatbush to really work with our people. And we also have our business experts. One of them actually is one who is, a lot of people actually love working with him, Kofi. He's actually really good, small business expert. And we also have another expert who works with businesses who have books of over 100,000. So one of the things I can do is connect you with some of our business experts who can really talk through what is available to you. Gotcha.
Thanks so much for that. Okay, awesome. So I want to open up the floor to any questions for Mr. Cunningham. Committee members, small business owners, I know you guys are on the line. Any questions for Mr. Ashur? There are no questions for Mr. Ashur?
Yes, sorry, I had my hand raised. David?
Yes,
Oh, hey,
this is
David.
Miss Belling.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
So David, you go first, and then Ms. Bellin, you go second.
All right, thanks for that information. Foremost, regarding the $30 billion that was spent, now, is that multiple banks or is that $30 billion spent from Chase alone?
No, it's just Chase. So that was Chase commitment for the United States. And as I said, since 2020, that commitment actually has been met. And because of the impact from then and this worked, there is a commitment to continue. So we're honestly by this time past that $30 billion. So we're not even focusing on that $30 billion anymore. It's more so how can we really service communities? Because we've seen that when we've put community managers in communities of color and is really helping communities, that communities are being serviced and lives are actually being changed. So to answer you in short, the commitment has been met, but we are still committed to really helping and advancing communities of color and low-income communities.
Awesome. Do you know how much of that 30 billion went to Brooklyn or East Flatbush in particular?
So I won't be able to answer that particularly, but one of the things I can speak of is when I mentioned the role of the community manager and our home lending expert, as well as our business experts. We have in East Flatbush, a community manager myself. We have shared a home lending expert, so a lot of part of that has been parked here based on these roles that have been hired. to really service communities like this. But outside of that, I won't be particularly able to answer like how much actually went to these communities.
Okay, thank you. Do you know, final question, do you know if that information is available somewhere?
I can double check on that. I'm not sure, but I'm sure it is.
Okay, that would be helpful. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, and then Ms. Bellin.
Good evening, and thank you for the presentation. Can
You're
people
welcome.
just walk in, or do you have to make an appointment to come to speak with you?
So my base is the branch on Flatbush and Church. So my role is technically in the community, so I may not always be at that branch. I also do service different branches. So we have, so the hub branch is Flatbush and Church. My peer branches are Avenue H and Flatbush, and also Utica and Church. So I would say make an appointment, Ms. Bellin, if you would like to speak with me, because I may not particularly be at that branch, or I could be working remotely. Like today, we had a major event at Prospect Heights High School. So I'm not always there. I'm actually going to drop a link in the chat in a bit, where if you really want to connect one with other business experts, you should fill that out. And I'll also have your information through that. And I'll also leave my general email there for people to reach out to me.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
And any other questions, business owners, committee members? Going once?
Hi, good evening. Yes, I have a question.
Hi, Tawa. How are you?
I'm okay. The question I have is,
Good.
you mentioned about diversity suppliers. How does one sign up to be on the or in the database for Chase, so they can potentially do business with them?
That's a great question. So that link that I dropped, I can connect you with one of our business experts who can be that bridge for you. But they would be the ones to walk you through that process. So definitely go through that link and let me help you connect to one of the business experts who can get you through that process. Or
Awesome.
anyone
All right.
who's interested.
Mr. Hassan, can you possibly send that link later? Because I'm on my device and I think I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, I could do that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. I could do that.
All right,
Not a
bye.
problem.
So-
Anyone else?
So Hassan, I want to mention again, remember, so when you think of the role of community manager, our role is not particularly to sell products, right? So we are usually very careful in how we talk about products, right? So you won't necessarily hear a community manager talking about, the checking accounts that are available at Chase, or we'll generally talk about these things. However, you've been hearing me say I can connect you with an expert who's able to do that, because again, our role is not necessarily here to sell these things, and which we're very careful about, because usually when people hear banks, they think we're just here to sell your product. But we are really here to connect you with the right resources to get you the help that you need. So maybe if the best way to think about a role like mine is I'm your connector, I'm your advocate. You have issues, you can speak with me. I will find the right person to solve that issue. I remember when I spoke at a community board meeting, someone talked about having an issue with the wealth advisor. So if that is the case, I would probably, once I hear your case, I'll probably find the right ways to help a person like that connect with someone who can really help them financially plan for the future. I also want to leave here, maybe there are ways that you could think about using all of these resources for your businesses, right? So we've talked about our small business expert, but I haven't mentioned our wealth advisors. Many of you probably haven't thought about ways, especially when you're thinking about planning for the future, how you can utilize a wealth advisor to really help you or your staff. And so if you're really interested in a lot of these resources that are there from a wealth perspective, from a home lending perspective, and home lending could also mean finding capital to buy another property for your business. definitely fill out that link and I can help you navigate and connect to the right individuals.
Awesome. Great. That sounds wonderful. Okay. I'm not sure if there are any other questions, but if there are, please, this is the time to ask before we conclude the presentation for Mr. Cunningham. And I don't see anything in the chat. So, Mr.
There's
Cunningham,
Tawa.
Oh, Tawa. Oh, Tawa just asked a question. Is there another one?
No, I lower my hand, sorry.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes. Who's that?
This is Deidre.
Okay, Deidre.
Yes. So if we wanted to share this with the other businesses, the best thing to do is to send them the link that you just put in the chat.
Yes, you can do that. And I'm also going to leave my email for you to share as well or connect with me. But again, so the link will definitely allow me to help you connect with the right individuals, maybe again, a particular business expert. But again, the general questions, you can definitely connect and reach out to me. I'm going to leave my email in the chat as well.
I have a question in regards to the financial literacy components. Let's take out someone who's interested in being a homeowner. What about the other components of financial literacy? Are you guys doing that?
Great question. So that is a major part of my role, right? So like our experts would lead individuals into like the nitty-gritty of everything that we would have started the conversation on. So our community managers are the ones who are actually leading a lot of, we say financial health, but these are financial literacy workshops within communities. And again, we host all community managers across the country, host in-branch workshops. Actually, one is coming up tomorrow at the Flatbush and Church branch. You could just walk in. They're from that, at this point, they're from 3 to 4. So one is happening tomorrow, but those workshops happen in branch and they also happen at different spaces. So I may be able to partner with a nonprofit or a business who would like to host financial health workshops in their spaces. And these cover a variety of topics. So from credit to banking 101. And they also have been, actually, I've been leading a class at LIU and in many different colleges. So yeah, we are focused on the financial literacy piece, again, because we believe that that is the basic thing to really move communities of color forward.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm
Hi,
going to connect with you later. Thank you.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. Yeah. I just wanted to add that I have participated in several of your workshops on trust, wills, and a generational wealth. I have to really commend Chase because for decades, you guys have been the model corporate that others should follow in giving back to the community and educating the community. And I've also been part of many grassroots organizations, and Chase has always been the forefront to support and sponsor. So congratulations for what you're doing and the role that you're playing. If more banks, if more corporates did, we would be in a better situation. Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheryl.
Thank you, Ms. Saunders. And I want to speak to that point. The truth is this model, Chase is one of the only ones that is really leading this model, right? Again, leading the financial health workshop. I mean, if you think of, I think a good example is think about the Apple Hub, how they lead these workshops at the Apple store. It is literally one of the same things that happen at the Chase branches where there are community managers. And again, the point is to really first start with the mind, because I can give a person $100,000. But if you really don't know how to invest and use that $100,000 wisely, more than likely it's going to be gone in a minute, right? And so that's why the financial health is a major piece of what we do. And the other pieces are things that follow after that piece.
Awesome. Great. Any last questions before we let Mr. Cunningham go? All right. Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Cunningham, for your wonderful presentation, sir. As always, he and I had actually spoken about, we did actually get a chance to meet. I didn't mention this to the committee, but we did get a chance to meet offline to figure out ways in which Commerce could work with JP Morgan, perhaps even sponsor some events around some of the topics that we talked about this evening. So that is something that's in the works. We can talk a little bit more about that from a subcommittee level, and certainly invite Mr. Cunningham to participate in those discussions as well as we plan for them. All right. I know that we have perhaps maybe we're in March, so we only have 3 months. We want to make sure that we get something. So we'll be reaching out to Mr. Cunningham about that pretty soon. But if anybody has any additional questions for him, he has put both links in the chat, his email address, as well as a link to the Google Sheet. It looks like it anyway, which certainly outlines what your interests are. So you can definitely fill that out, pass that along. I'm sure, Mr. Cunningham, is it okay to pass that along to other business owners as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, great. And I owe you an email. I was supposed to put you in touch with both Lily's and Bamboo Walk, because they both have an interest. So I will do that as well. I'm so behind, I tell you, everybody's jumping on my case.
Actually,
but my apologies.
Maybe just pass that survey along to them, the Survey Monkey.
Yeah, I can do that.
Will help me do that. Right?
Okay, I can do that. Absolutely. Well, great. So with that being said, I don't want to keep Mr. Cunningham any longer, but Mr. Cunningham, thank you so much for the presentation, sir, and being one of our special guest speakers. We certainly would love to have you back at some point in the future, so we can talk about more about how we can certainly work together with Commerce and JP Morgan. I think our visions are aligned, if that makes sense. Okay. And we definitely, once we get the Business Networking Breakfast together, and certainly our sumptuous sampler event that's coming up in June and all of that, we'll invite you guys formally to come out. And if you'd like to table and all that kind of stuff, we can invite you as well. Okay.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. All right. I don't want to keep you any longer because I know you were here on time. So I want to give you back the rest of your evening, but thanks again. Okay.
Thank you. And have a good night, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank
You
you.
too. Okay. Great. So, thank you guys for the questions, committee. Always great questions as usual. You guys make me look really well, and I appreciate that. So the next item in our on our agenda is our liquor licenses for this evening. We have Club Julian's, which I know Mr. Julian is already here, and thank you, sir, for being here on time, Mr. Linton. We also have Kings and Queens Events Palace. I don't know if they're on, but I don't know if Mr. Agard is representing them. Mr. Agard, are you representing Kings and Queens?
Yes, I am this evening.
Okay. And are you also representing San Pepe's Chicken Express?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so it's just the two. Okay, great. So let's start with Mr. Julian, since you, sir, were on here. Please, if you don't mind, and tell us a little bit about your business, sir, what you're looking to do. The committee will ask you some questions, and then we'll provide an incident report, which is always provided by our 67 precinct, and then we'll go from there. So, Mr. Julian Linton, go right ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. Well, this is the new business that I'm about to start. I haven't opened anything yet.
Yes, sir.
I had come to the committee before with this same business, but due to getting all the paperwork together to send into the liquor authority, I had some delays. So there was a lot of delays, and the time had passed for me to submit what I wanted.
Sure.
So I'm coming back now to see if I can get the process started again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell us about your business and the type of business that you have and what you're looking to do.
It's going to be right now. It's going to be like a wine bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning to sell it a beer and wine.
Right.
Looking to have a mature crowd because I'm retired, so I'm not looking to have a too much of a young crowd in my establishment. And in my community there on Rogers Avenue, it's a bit of a desert in terms of entertainment. Between that block from Church Avenue all the way up to, I would say, Newkirk. There's nothing much going on there. We do have some restaurants between Clarendon and Newkirk and Avenue D actually. But apart from that, we don't have much. So one of my things is to provide at least a small amount of food items, like chicken wings, fries and stuff like that for people in the neighborhood. They can be able to to purchase.
Can someone, Miss Bellin, I think you, please go on mute if you don't mind, Miss Bellin. Hello, Miss Bellin. Hello. If we can hear your background noise, if you guys could mute yourself, that would be great while Mr. Julian is speaking. Great. Go right ahead, Mr. Julian. I apologize.
Yes. So as I said, just variety in a particular part of the community.
Yes, sir.
And my plan is to basically open basically from Thursday to Sunday to start. That would be a start. If the food part of it goes well, then I will expand that, to provide that service to the people in the area. And just to provide some entertainment also in the evenings, within those days.
Okay. Anything else you'd like us to know before we open up the questions?
Well, that particular location, I owned the building, and I had a bar there years ago. Until I closed it around 2012, everything was pretty good. I didn't really have any major problems or so on in that location. So now that I have the time, I'm trying to rekindle it a bit, but on a more what I say a milder level in terms of what kind of clientele I will have in there.
Sure. Gotcha. No problem. I got you. Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you, and I'll open this up to the committee as well to ask, and just the committee to ask any questions. But I want to have the first question. How big is your size, the CFO? I mean, how many people can you fit location?
About between 65 and 70.
65 and 70? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Great. Well, I'm going to open it up to our committee members. Committee members, do you have any questions for Mr. Linton? No questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask questions, Marguerite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Marguerite.
So what are your hours going to be? And you said entertainment, but what do you mean by entertainment exactly?
Well, I will have I have a DJ. I plan to have some karaoke. I will allow dancing, because that's allowed now within New York City. And just provide wine, cocktails, and so on for people to consume.
And what are your hours going to be?
My hours, I would say from 6. I think I had written it down. 6 to 2 on Thursday. 6 to 4 on Friday. Same way with Saturdays, and 6 to 2 on Sundays. 2 a.m.
I just have one other question. Do you have soundproofing in the building?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other questions for Mr. Linton from the committee?
Yes, just a quick question. Where's the location? Rogers on what?
It's on 971 Rogers between Beverly Road and Tilden Avenue.
Okay. Are there any many residential homes in the area? Or?
They are residential. It's a mixed-use community. We have residential. We have a bunch of new apartment buildings have gone up in the area, as you all may be aware. And we have, like a tire shop, mechanic shop. It's a mixed use and residence. The area was what you call it? I think they call it a C6 or something like that, where it's a mixed use residence. Yes, so you have businesses at the bottom of a lot of the buildings there, and then you have residents above.
Okay. And then when it comes to the music and entertainment, that would be contained to the indoor, right?
Indoors, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hazel
questions?
answer.
Oh, okay. Hazel?
This establishment is right next to a residence, which looks like it's not mixed use. And on the other side, it might be something that I don't know if it's mixed use or not, but I'm really concerned about the noise and the amount of people that would be gathering in what looks like a pretty residential section of the block.
Well, I really don't have an outdoor space, so any activities will be taking place inside.
Do you have a backyard?
On that block, we also have one other location which caters for like christenings and birthday parties and so on like that, and it's never been a problem there in terms of people overflowing and so on.
Where
And
is
that space
At
is
the same?
that space is bigger than mine.
Oh, is it? That's not your space.
No, that's not my space.
Oh, okay. Did you have a
Okay.
backyard?
I have a very small backyard, but it's not set up right now for any outdoor activities, and it's very small. That would at this time that would not be included in the application.
Right. Okay. Any other questions, committee members?
Yes, my
Adele's
hand
hand
is
is
up.
up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adele. Apologies.
I'm sorry. I Googled it and I know it's in that area. One on the corner of Tilden, on the same side as your business.
Yes, there are we have some small storefront churches there.
Still a
Yeah,
church.
but
There's one on opposite from you, and there's one on the corner of you. I Googled mine today.
well, on Rogers Avenue, there's a lot of little storefront churches. I mean, if you really look up and down the avenue.
Yes, I did.
But
I
they
looked
will,
at it.
my business will not really interfere with that.
You have to be over 100 feet away from a church. I'm aware of this.
Well, the license I'm applying for is it's a beer and wine license.
Yeah, he's license is only wine, beer, and cider, which is what he's applying. He's not applying for any liquor. Just wine, beer, and cider. All right.
I think you still have to be 500 feet from a church.
That's correct.
The 500 feet is has to do with 3 establishments within the same area.
100 feet from a church.
Yeah, it's 200 feet. 200 feet from a church for a liquor license.
Marguerite?
Say that again, Adele. I'm sorry, you missed it.
I was asking Marguerite because she knows She's very familiar with the liquor, New York State Liquor Authority.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you have, I don't think there's a difference between the beer and wine and the full liquor license with the church. I'm not
Yeah,
sure though.
there is a difference.
There is. There definitely is. And
Okay.
because remember, guys, I sent you guys the it's in our, remember the pamphlet that we created a few years back? I have to send you guys that again because it's all in there actually. Unless they've changed the recently for this year, unless they've changed it since January, it's been the same that I know of anyway.
Yeah, it hasn't
But
been
we'll,
changed.
yeah.
Yeah, but in
Uh,
the essence of time, won't the liquor authority determine that? Yeah, when
well,
there's
they would.
a
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
So
they would.
they will.
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's up to them. Yeah.
yeah, and they would be the you guys know. I mean, ours, you know, they're the final arbiters of this
Yeah.
anyway. Of
Hmm.
course, regardless of what we do in the committee as well as our board, you know, so they would be the they have their own guidelines, so they would be the ones who are checking all of this out to ensure that those businesses are in compliance. At least the
So
ones who are
Hassan,
asking for a liquor
aren't we
license.
supposed to
Yes.
check also?
Sorry.
Aren't we supposed to check also? That's why you
Yeah,
sent
we.
to us.
Yeah, but no, I hear you. The problem with that, and I get what you're saying. The problem with that is that unless we go out on site with a tape measure ourselves, it's a little difficult to do. I mean, I don't have a problem doing it, but I think.
You can see
Say
the
that again.
distance. When you Google it, you can see the distance. And why would we want to look foolish?
Say that again. I can't say that.
I said, why would we want to look bad in the eyes of the liquor authority? So why is these people constantly sending us this, and then they know they shouldn't do this? We should find out the
Well,
information.
I agree. I mean, but okay. So your
Well,
recommendation
you can check the distance. There's something called the LAMP,
That's correct. I know what it is.
which shows the distance of any church, any official church in the area.
So what I'm in the interest of us not getting into a long debate about this, and Adele, I do see your point. I do. Unless we, you know, what we have to do is trust that the SLA is going to do their due diligence when it comes to compliance. Okay, that they have their own. They have very strict rules, and they are the ones who obviously, you know, make the final determination. Now we can go out and measure it ourselves. I don't have a problem with doing that. You know, so maybe that's something that we can talk about in our meetings moving forward. I think we've had these discussions
If I
before
may
in the past.
interrupt, right? Because I had a liquor license before, from my experience, when you apply for a liquor license, they actually send out a investigator to do all the measurements and everything. The liquor authority.
They do.
Yes.
But I think but to Adele's point, and I understand, just to make sure that as a committee, since we are the ones making the recommendation to the board, and you know, and that kind of thing, just so we're sure as a committee. I get her point, and I get it. I'm just trying. We would just need to figure out how to do that moving forward, Adele, because that's one other thing in our arsenal that we should be focused on. If that makes sense.
Hassan, I just have a question. How do we even know
Yes.
if these churches are still even active?
Say that again.
How do we even know if these churches are still even active?
Well, we don't. I mean, but we would have to investigate that. I mean, that's something that Adele is sort of recommending that we should be more diligent in doing that. In the past, we've always left it up to SLA to do their due diligence, since they are the ones who set the qualifications and the rules that govern these businesses that want these liquor licenses. So we're sort of relying on them to ensure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, so we don't have to. But I
Okay.
understand her point. She's simply saying that perhaps just to make sure that we're all of our T's across, all of our I's are dotted, that maybe that's an extra step that we could take. And I'm open to that, and I'm
But
fine with that. We just have to figure and discuss how that would look moving forward.
but okay, I hear everything that everyone is saying, but I'm also
Right.
listening to what he said. And he
Yes.
mentioned that they were open and he had a liquor license back in
Yeah.
2012. So that
Mhm.
most likely if he had it before and if those churches were there, then the likelihood it was no problem. The
Mhm.
only question I have is you never read the report. Could we hear what the report is?
Yes, yes, we can. I just want to make sure, and I was getting to that. I just want to make sure if there's any other questions before we move on as well.
I have a quick question for
Sure.
Tima. Is this is this fully residential and this would be the only business on the block, or are there other businesses on this block? Because when you Google it, it doesn't appear. It all appears to be residential.
Okay, if you Google it, I don't know if, which part you're looking, but right opposite my business, right, there is you have what you call a two rental shop. Then you have a right opposite also you have here's a beauty salon. Then you have a doctor's office. You have a school on the corner of Tilden. Actually a daycare at the corner, not a school, a daycare at the corner of Tilden and Rogers, right? Two across the street, going down maybe I would say 200 yards, you have a tire shop. There's a lot of little businesses there. Then you have a laundromat just at the corner of Beverly and Rogers. There's a huge laundromat there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees in the images that's currently
There's a
up
lot of
on Google.
businesses on that street.
So
Yeah.
it's not really, that's why it's really hard to see what the businesses are because there's a lot of, the trees are, I'm guessing this picture was taken in the spring when the trees were full. So only thing I'm able to see are like the apartments, complexes and houses, whatever. Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So I have to assume that there are no other questions.
I just, Hassan, can I just
Yep.
intercede here? So I'm looking it up here on NewYorkCity.gov, and there's a 200-foot rule. There's no 100-foot rule. There's a 200-foot rule and a 500-foot rule. And the 200-foot rule just says that it applies to any establishment where liquor will be sold on premises for consumption, and any retail establishment, blah blah blah. So I don't really know what that means, except it sounds to me like that means any liquor license. But we'll have to look further into it.
That just applies to liquor itself.
By the way, I just dropped in the chat for everyone.
Yeah.
Excerpt from the government website. So there is an exception. If you just read what I put in the chat, you'll see that there is an exception, and that's the link where
Yeah, the grandfather. The grandfather clause.
No, it says that if you read what he put in the chat, right?
Oh,
and it
yeah,
mentions the same restriction does not apply. The last sentence, it says the same restriction does not apply to license for beer and or wine only, which in what he's actually applying for.
Okay.
And
all right. So
website, yeah, quick reference.
Right. And that was directly from the SLA website.
It is.
State Liquor Authority. Yeah. Yeah, we have and David and Daniel and some of the other ones. I mean, I know that Marguerite, we have a pamphlet that you guys haven't seen in a while that I will absolutely send out, and it has all of the rules and regulations that, and it's a Commerce Committee pamphlet that we specifically when these questions come up, we refer to that. We just haven't referred to it in a while, but I'll send you guys that. So just look out for that via email as well. I'll be sure to make sure. Okay, great. So I just want to.
Hassan, I do have one more question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I know that he mentioned that he wants a mature crowd. So is there a specific age that can enter his space?
Well, the age basically has to be 21 and over. We can't discriminate and say, well, we could only allow 30 years old. It's 21 and over. But I can control, the type of people that I have coming there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we do have some businesses in our community that actually cater to a specific older crowd. I've seen it. It's just what they do, because what happens is when young people walk into an establishment and they see a lot of a little older crowd, they kind of gravitate away from that, and they want to go to a place that caters to a younger crowd. It's just the way it is. So I mean, I've seen businesses in our community that do that and have done that for years. So great. So I just wanted to make sure that were there any other questions before we move on from Mr. Linton? All right. Thank you, Mr. Linton. Just hang out a little bit. We're gonna vote in just a little while, okay, with the committee. So just hang on. But I do want to bring up Mr. Patrick Agard. Mr. Agard, I know you're on, sir. Thank you very much for being patient. Oh, sorry. I have to go back a bit. We were supposed to read whether or not there was an incident report, and according to there were no incidents at this location, since it is a new application as well. I'm not surprised by that. But with that being said, I'm bringing up now the representative, Mr. Patrick Agard, for Kings and Queens Event Palace.
Okay.
Mr. Agard, go right ahead, sir.
I'm coming on, yes. Been having a little bit of technical difficulties with this WebEx myself. I'm not really a fan.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. We're going to work on it, though. We're going to work on it.
Okay. Thank you, please. Well, good evening, everyone. Patrick Agard, and I'm representing Kings and Queens Event Palace, Inc., located at 1163 Utica. That's near the corner of Clarendon, and the far corner would be Avenue D. For a little more reference, it's 2 doors over from Round 2 restaurants, which many of you already know.
That is. Yep.
And basically, it's an event space that has been run for the last couple of years by Miss Denise Brown, and she has some other locations as well, but this one, she feels that it needs to be licensed, and so we're presenting that. It's for a little more approximation, the size of it is about 20 wide and about 50 deep. So it's not a very large space that she has, but she has been holding events there for the last couple of years.
Okay, great. Anything else, Mr. Agard, before we open it up for questions from the committee?
No, I'm open for questions.
Okay, committee members, any questions for Mr. Agard?
Well, the same questions. How many people? What are you going to do there? Does it have soundproofing? Those are all my questions.
All right, yeah, let's.
So capacity, hours, entertainment.
Yeah. Okay, let's go through the perfunctory things. 74 is going to be the max that's allowed. The hours are going to depend. She doesn't do anything past 2 a.m. But as you know, being it's an event space, it's only going to open once they have a contracted event. So it could be a baby shower, it could be a birthday party, an anniversary party, those type of events. Does that give it? And in that strip mall, it's just businesses. There's no residences in that little mall there. And across the street, as you know, is that grocery store. So it's an area that's.
It's Green Acres, right? Green Acres is on that corner.
Correct. Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
So it's a very commercialized area.
Okay. Any other
And
questions?
are they going to be open every day? Sorry.
Well, as long as she gets events, it's not open to the general
Events,
public
yeah.
in the sense that you can just walk in there. You have to have a contracted event for it to be open.
Okay, and this is a full liquor license?
A full liquor license she's applying for, yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Agard?
Hazel Martinez. I'm very interested in the police report because it always seems like there's something happening on that corner.
Okay. Yes, I can. I'm going to read that. I just want to make sure we get all the questions answered before we read that. Any other questions, committee members? Okay, here are none. So there is a incident report, and the incident report is we'd asked the 67th precinct to provide that for us from looks like March 18th, 2024 to March 18th, 2025. There were 14, I think this is 14 911 calls and one arrest, it says, but it indicates prom location during let out, and it says arrest. If Detective Skinner, I know you on, sir, can you provide some clarity about the incident report for Kings and
Yes,
Queens?
Yeah, for Kings and Queens, it's a multitude of 911 calls. We haven't had any 311 calls when I checked, surprisingly, but we also get like a lot of 911 calls, or people call the office saying that business has been like operating outside of the hours. So a lot of times, like our club team, they would have to catch it at the end, because that particular establishment, the one on Utica, it's not like how others normally have events. So it's kind of like a hit or miss sometimes. But the most recent one was the arrest, because they were letting out one of the patrons try to go back in, and he was preventing people from leaving. And that's when the officers had placed him under arrest, because apparently I guess I don't know if he was part of the promotions or whoever that was having the event, but apparently he didn't want the patrons to leave, and he wanted to enter back in, but they told him he couldn't enter back in because patrons were letting out, and that's when they arrested.
Okay, and it mentioned
Are
it was
those
a
911 calls all from the same night, or the same, or are they all different
Oh, that's
random?
over a year. That's from March
Over a year, right?
2024 to 2025, different 911 calls.
Okay.
And it mentions about the prom location. Was this a prom that was happening when they arrested this person?
What was that? I'm sorry.
No, it indicates on the incident report that it says one arrest, but it says prom location during let out. So I'm not sure what that necessarily means. The comment in
I'm sorry.
there.
No, it was a prime location, meaning like.
Oh, prime.
Yeah,
Okay.
prime of when they were. I guess the prime time of when they were letting out.
Okay, gotcha. All right, fair enough. And the status just says arrest. It doesn't say anything whether or not it's closed or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously that would have courts know if it's sealed or not eventually, but just made, I believe, early in the month, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so fairly recent.
I don't have the paper in front of me because I'm not in the office.
Okay. But in other words, it wasn't last year, March. It was this year. Just recent. Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Okay, great. Any other questions, committee members? Any other questions for
Hassan, is this
Ms.
a
Agar?
renewal for a liquor license or for?
No, this is actually a new application. So they hadn't had one there before. Yeah.
They did have one before. What happened to it?
No, they didn't. Am I correct in saying that, Mr. Agar? That is correct?
Right, this is her first time. Yeah, whatever was there
Right.
before, I can't speak to.
So they're not affiliated with the previous owners. These are brand new owners.
This is brand new, yes.
Yeah, this is brand new.
And you just said that she's been doing things there for the last 2 years.
At least a couple of years at least, but I'm not sure how far back y'all are talking about. But there has been no license in that spot.
But so if she's been there for 2 years and there's been 911 calls in this past year, then that's related to that business, right?
And her.
I mean, I'm assuming that because that's what the incident report reflects.
Yeah, when it's for
Yeah.
an entire year. So
right,
it's reflecting from March of 2024 to March of 2025.
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question. Why been there for 2 years? I thought it was more than 2 years, but why is there a need for the liquor license now?
Is that a question to me?
Yes.
Well, I would imagine that she's probably getting more requests for events that would require that. And a lot of people are under the impression that when you have an event space, that a liquor license is not necessary. They believe that they're allowed to have the people who are renting the place to bring in their own liquor. But in New York State, all liquor sales is under the law of the SLA, and the SLA says that any place that you have in a in a commercial space where you have liquor being served, they have to have a license. So, and a lot of business owners don't understand that. So she may be recently coming to the knowledge that she needed to get this done.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Any other questions, committee members?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Adele.
Yes, there are homes directly behind there. I guess that's what generating the 911 complaints. Are they going to be outside in the yard also? Mr. Aker?
Are they going to be outside in the yard? They only have the front. There's no back.
There's no back?
And in the front.
Yeah, it is just the front.
Is the parking area in the front. So I would like to get more information as to those 911 calls, exactly what particular they were. So if at all possible, Mr. Bakadine, if I can, do you have dates affiliated with those 14 incidences?
Unfortunately, they don't. I mean, it gives you when we ask for an incident report, they don't give you the exact dates. But Detective Skinner, is it possible that you could provide some additional information
Yeah,
for Ms.
I
Hagar?
don't have the exact dates, but what some of the multiple 911 calls would say, fight an establishment, and then when the officers get there, it's unfounded. Or, for example, somebody's inside with a gun or shots fired, and when the officers get there, it's what do you call it? It's unfounded. But the main reason why people are calling that in because that's been operating past hours. So it's one of those things where when you go to get there, they'll say, yeah, the crowd, and after they'll have to shut it down, or the club team would go and shut it down. That's mainly what we pretty much gather of why people are, basically calling some of those false 911 calls.
So, all right, two things. You're saying some of them are false, and then the others, and you also said that they're operating past hours.
The reason why we're saying it's false is because of the fact that now, if it's unfounded, well, I can't say false because unfounded means we didn't find anything. So an incident could have took place, and when we get there, the parties have left. So let me retract that. Now,
That means that it's disturbing. That means it's disturbing. the neighborhood.
Hang on one
Sorry.
second, Marguerite. Just do it in a second, please. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Detective Skinner.
So it's one of those things where incident could have taken place, and when we get there, parties could have left location. But some of the 911 calls of like shots fired and stuff like that, and we get there, and the officer said it's unfounded, and they canvassed the area. We realize that it's associated because of the fact that this establishment is either going past a certain. I had somebody call the office, and they said that the same one on Utica was operating at like morning, and just so happened I was going on a detail. Literally, I had a detail that morning. I answered the office, and I'm like, hey, and we have to send a call over there, and sure enough, there was a party still going on there. So it's just a plethora of different calls. I can't say exactly who called or what, but obviously you have to protect who the caller. But it's just been a multitude of different 911 calls. That's why I said I'm shocked that granted there was no 311 calls.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay.
May I say
okay, great.
something now?
Yes, you can. Go ahead, Marguerite.
What I wanted to say is that means that people are disturbed by what's going on there. Whether we have corroborated it, nobody's going to call 911 just for the hell of it. So what I'm just saying is that it's obviously a place that's disturbing the neighbors. I just want to put that out there.
That's why I was asking about the 911 calls, because where are they coming from? Are they coming from the neighbors, or are they coming from within the establishment themselves itself? So I would need a little bit more clarity so we could be able to address whatever situations have been going on there in the past, as opposed to just assuming that it may be this or it may be that. Detective Skinner can, if he can bring us some more, get to the office, to you, Mr. Bakadine, some more information, we can address this.
So I will say yes, you're right about that. But what I will say also too is the fact that regardless of where the call is coming from, it's coming specifically back to that location. It's not coming next to Popeyes. It's not coming from Round 2, which is next door. It's not coming from anywhere like across the street. It's coming specifically to that location. So I don't know what the deal is as far as the ownership. Maybe whoever owns it or who take it, they need to have a little bit more control or more vet their crowd out a little bit better. But you know, it is establishment that even our night guys have addressed numerous times. So that's why I can actually speak on this behalf. Because Kings and Queens has not just that one location, they also have another location on Church Avenue. I think it's 2 locations. And the one on Church Avenue, if I'm not mistaken, we don't get as many calls at all from the Church Avenue location.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can, Detective Skinner, if you have any additional information, I'd be more than happy to pass that along to Mr. Agar.
Not a problem.
As
Hassan,
well.
I don't want to be rude. I am at the Citizens Academy and I have to go inside. I was trying to stay on.
No problem.
Longer. But
no problem.
I will get. I'll email you if anything of as far as like more in depth of what some of the calls are, if that's okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
all right.
Thank you so much.
And I'd just like to add on also, Mr. Bakadine, and to the other members of the board, I'm going to ask if you can table this. Don't present this for tomorrow. Let's get these questions answered, and then have this ready for April's meeting, if that's okay with the rest of you all.
That's fine for us. I mean, that's great. I don't have a problem with that. Committee members, are you okay with that?
Yes, that's fine for me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine for me as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. And thank you so much, Mr. Agar, for certainly going through that. You know, we just want to make sure, and our committee members are very diligent in making sure that you know, they protect our community as well, and that's fine. And I have a problem with that as well.
You know, I've been with you guys for a long time, and so I know what the questions are, and you know that whatever questions you have, I always come back with the answers and make sure that everything is answered. So just feel that this is just the right thing to do. But just one other thing in regard to the when we were talking, when you were speaking with Julian, when you have he's not applying for a full liquor license, he's applying for a beer wine. So it doesn't have the same compliance as a full liquor license. So the 200-foot rule for a church and school does not apply to that license. So he can have a church right next door to him, and for a beer wine or restaurant wine license, he's entitled to have that license.
Right. Yeah. We actually had that. That was put in the chat by Mr. David Bolslane as well.
Okay.
So he was able to put that in there. So thank you so much for that.
And then also,
okay, great.
One other thing that I'm done.
Yes, sir.
He's been in business for many, many years. I've known Julian for a lot of years. And I remember when he had Club Julian at that same spot, and I don't believe that they really ever had any incidences there. So he knows how to run a business and how to control a crowd. And so, like I said, I've known him for many years, and so I can speak to him and how he runs things and how he does things. That's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Agar.
sir. And I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yes, I appreciate that. Okay, great. So with that being said, so Mr. Agar, we'll see you at our meeting in April. We'll get the additional information for you, sir, so you have all that information as well. And committee members, I would love to take a vote now for Club Julian's. We've heard Mr. Julian Linton talk about his business, and you guys have asked a question. So please, in the affirmative, when I call your name, if it's yes, it's yes. If it's no, it's no. Whatever. All right, and we'll move forward from there. All right.
Okay, Hassan.
Yes, sir, George.
wasn't there a third one? Salt and pepper, some pepper.
Yeah, but they're not. But they're not on. Yeah, they're not on
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
I mean, unless they've come
Okay.
on since we've been here, but they're not on. All right. So with that being said, let's go down the list. Jean Gomez.
Yes.
Is it yes? Okay.
Yes.
Adele.
Abstain.
Okay. George.
Yes.
All right. Hazel.
Yes.
Sonia. Sonia, are you there? Okay, I'll come back to Sonia. Dan. Dan, are you there?
Yes, I vote yes on both.
We're not doing both right now.
No, we're just doing one right now, which is Club Julian. So we're tabling Kings and Queens for next month's meeting until we get the questions answered. So it's
My
yes,
apologies.
Dan, right? Yeah, no
It is
problem.
yes.
No problem. Okay. Miss Bellin? Miss Bellin? Okay, I'll come back to Miss Bellin. Marguerite?
I'll say yes.
Okay. David?
Yes.
Fatima?
Yes.
All right. Cheryl?
Yes.
All right. Bree, if you're still there?
I'm
Oh, if you
here.
are.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay. Khadija?
Yes.
All right. Tawa? Tawa, are you there? If you're there, Tawa, unmute and tell it. Okay, we'll move on. I don't know if she's still there. It looks like but it's I'm actually voting, so it's yes for me as well. So I'll go back to Sonia. Sonia, are you there? Can you give us your vote? If you're unable to mute, then can you just put your vote in the chat? Okay, let's move on. Miss Bellin? Miss Bellin? Are you able to unmute Miss Bellin and give us your vote? Okay, no. And Tawa? Tawa, are you still there? I see them. Is it me? I see them logged in. I don't know what's happening there. That's crazy. All right, I'm going to try one more time.
See them anymore.
You don't see them anymore?
No.
And maybe they dropped off.
I still
Okay.
see Sonia and Kawa on mine, on my participant list.
Oh, I don't
I
see
thought I
them
see them
online.
too. Yeah, that's what I. All right, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna try and make this again. So Sonia, are you available? Are you available to give us your vote?
No, she's
If
not
you
here.
are, please unmute.
His name on here.
They're not here.
Yeah. Okay, she's obviously not there. Miss Bellin, have you dropped off as well? Miss Bellin, have you dropped off as well? Yeah,
I
looks like
still see her phone number.
yeah, it's still there. I mean, maybe they're not unable to unmute. If you guys are unable to unmute, then just put your vote inside the thing there, please. And then Tawa. I see all of them still here, so I'm kind of surprised that, maybe they're frozen or something. Okay, so let's continue on with our meeting. I can tell you what we have so far. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 yeses and 1 abstention so far, and 3 no votes. Well, not no votes, but people who are not on the line to vote. Okay, so it looks like even with those 3, it still looks like that there would be a majority of people in favor of Mr. Linton, the committee recommending Mr. Linton go before the board tomorrow, which is at SUNY Downstate, Mr. Linton. Well, did you happen to get the address, by the way? Were you sent the address, Mr. Linton,
Yes,
as well?
I do have it.
Okay, so you know that you'll go through this exercise, obviously, tomorrow with the full board. I'll call you up and along with some of the other businesses that will be there tomorrow as well, and you'll present your business as well.
Yes.
And then there'll be a full vote at that meeting, and that vote will be the recommendation to the SLA. And then we'll go from there. Whether that happens or not, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Okay. And
Okay.
that happens at I think they get started at 7 o'clock. But I will make sure that you have a copy of the agenda so you'll know when you're supposed to come up, because our meetings sometimes can be really long.
I know.
So there you go. So you can kind of gauge when when you can get there and that kind of thing. So all right,
Okay.
but thank you so much for going through this exercise and the questions this evening as
And
well.
thank
Okay.
you for
Yeah.
accommodating me also. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. And I
Thanks,
look forward
everybody.
to seeing you tomorrow. Yes, sir.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Good night. All right. And Commerce Committee members, I'm not sure what happened to Tawa and Sonia and Tawa, Sonia and Miss Bellin, but it looks to me like they're still on. So I don't know what happened
No,
there.
I don't see Sonia or Tawa
Oh,
in
they
the
dropped off. Maybe they got
participants
knocked
list.
out.
Yeah, I don't see them in the
Oh.
participants list.
Oh, okay. I tell you, this WebEx is just crazy, man. It's just nuts. But we're gonna have to work with it until we get something better. All right. So we'll just move on from there, and and I'll reach out to them. Maybe they'll come back on before we finish. Okay. So we have in our next thing, we have any unfinished business, folks, and I know we do have some unfinished business because yes. Sorry.
Okay, this is Miss Belling. My phone kept going in and out.
Oh, Miss Bellin. Okay. I was because Miss Bellin, we just voted on or took a vote for Club Julian's. What was your vote?
So yes,
Okay, great. I'll record that
vote in
just as
favor.
okay, great. Tawa, have you come back on? And Sonia, have you come back on? Okay, I'll just move on from there then. All right, so we have some unfinished business, good people, and it's actually around the letter that we are trying to get out for Double XL event space. I took a look at it, and of course, it was sent over by Marguerite a while ago, and I want to thank her Marguerite. Thank you for your patience, because I know this has been something that you guys have been dealing with. And I've actually had a moment to look through the letter and made some tweaks and changes and whatnot, and sent it back to Marguerite. She sent me some additional tweaks, thinking that perhaps maybe I need to reword things and that kind of thing, which I have no problem with. I think one of the words that you had mentioned about Marguerite, just as an FYI, was more about allegedly, using the word allegedly.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
And the reason why I use that, and it's literally to make sure that we cover ourselves. It's more of a, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying about the police department went in and they investigated it and all that kind of stuff, and it's been founded. I always use it as really a backup or a stopgap, just so they don't bring any libel, charges against it. That's the only reason why I put it in there. But if you're confident,
Yeah, it just doesn't sound. I don't know. It just doesn't sound as serious if you said allegedly, because it's like we're not really sure, but we think, but we know for a fact.
Okay.
And there are affidavits from the police.
Yes, there are.
So
Absolutely.
So I think we can I think we can stand on saying they are doing these things. I mean, maybe, and there's four. I think it says allegedly in there 4 times. So I guess
Yeah.
maybe each one we should look at individually or something. But I think it takes away from the gravitas of the whole thing.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine. Well, I get your point. So I mean, when you said it, I immediately knew that may have been a sticking point that you may have had. But I'll open it up to the other committee because I'd love to hear other opinions on this
Yeah.
as well.
Let me
This is
just,
George.
George, wait a minute. Let
Yeah.
me just say something first. The other reason was that when you say the community allegedly says, it's like the community can't really be trusted because we're not really sure.
No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't
That's
mean
what it
that. It
sounds
definitely
like.
doesn't. I hear you. I got you.
Yeah. Go ahead, George.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes, no, I agree that it diminishes a little bit, but then if you look like a criminal, so if someone is arrested for a crime, it's alleged the alleged murderer until it's proven in court. So I
Right.
understand also what Hassan is saying. We cannot say if for a fact. And I say I am not a lawyer or anything, but whenever you see something, I was saying the alleged perpetrator, the alleged this until it's proven in court. So yes.
And that was the only reason why I actually put that in.
Right. For our sake, and we have to make sure, because unless we have definitely proof in our hands that this is what's happening, we do
Right.
have
Well,
to
we
say.
do have.
I would think we have to say
We
alleged.
do have proof. We do have
Yeah,
proof.
but
We have affidavits from police officers that went in and bought liquor. They purchased liquor in there and they don't have a liquor license. So that's the proof that they were doing it. I don't
they
think
have
we need
not
to
been
say
convicted.
alleged for that. What?
But look at look at that murderer on Long Island. They're still calling him alleged because he hasn't really been convicted. So that's why I would say for our own protection, I would think. Yeah, and again, I am by no far a lawyer, but I would say I would think I would say that we need to keep the word alleged in there.
I do have a question. If we are trying to state something happened, do we know if NYPD had submitted these things as proof? Because that could be an issue if it
Yes, there
wasn't
was a
submitted.
hearing.
I understand what
Yes,
you're
it was
saying. There was a
submitted.
hearing.
It
I
was
understand that
submitted
you
at
was.
the hearing.
What was submitted at the hearing?
These affidavits were submitted at a hearing regarding this building and the alcohol being served and all of that. So there's affidavits that were presented at the hearing.
Right.
There's a hearing.
Right. And
Yeah, I
she's
mean,
right.
I sent everybody all the documents. If anybody wanted to read all of it, it's a lot of documents.
Right. No, and I hear what and I completely hear what you're saying. And she did send out the information, so I can resend it out again to you guys if you just want to look at it.
But the thing
I
is
just
that the judge.
Hassan, I'm not. Can I finish, please?
yes. Sorry. Go
What
ahead.
I'm saying is, if we have affidavits stated, then you can reiterate that based on the affidavit submitted to you, it was reported that these things happened instead of saying alleged.
Okay.
Well, but there was already a hearing and it went before the judge, and the judge already ruled on it.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of background noise, and I don't know who has the background noise. It sounds like the TV or something in the background. Can you guys just mute that? Okay.
It's a 347 number. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So anyway,
just mute that.
all this information was presented at the hearing, and the judge ruled on it. And there's another hearing in April. So the judge already has all this information that was already submitted. So if now we're sending a letter and saying allegedly, we're backtracking.
No, I don't think we're doing that.
Well, I don't want to argue about it. Then do whatever you want. Right? If you want to put the allegedly, fine. I just want to get the letter out.
Quick question. I have a quick question. Is it to the same judge or is it going to another one? And if it's not, is there a possible way that we do this and then send it to legal to review it and tell us whether we can
We
actually
don't have
submit
time
it.
for that.
Yeah, we don't have
We have,
time because
we have
unfortunately the hearing is next month. So I think it's probably in a
April
couple of
3rd.
weeks. So we
April
want to get
3rd.
we want to get the letter out and also, you know, get it to all of our elected officials and the precinct council and all and you know, and even our precinct commander and all of that to get everything out so
Hassan,
everybody has enough time to
you know,
review
we've
it.
done, Hassan, we did this before with Pulse when we sent the
Yeah, we
letter
did.
out, and we didn't write allegedly in any of those letters. So I
Well,
don't know.
and I tell you why, because with Pulse, and I'll tell you exactly why, because with Pulse,
Yeah.
there were so many incidents, right, that were documented on them. You know that. So many incidents.
But we have documents on this.
Right.
I don't think the number of documents makes a difference.
I hear what
We
you're
have
saying,
documentation, the
Marguerite.
same as we had before. So there's no
I
difference.
hear what you're saying.
But
I hear what you're saying, but there is a difference. If there's a
I don't
pattern
know
of
why. I don't
behavior,
know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but
There's a pattern of behavior here already. The judge
listen, if
closed
there's
the place down. Listen, the judge closed the place down because of it. Then she let them
I
reopen,
understand that too.
stipulating
I understand
that
that
they
too.
didn't serve alcohol in there. Now they're serving alcohol in there because there's affidavits from the police that they're serving alcohol in there. The guy was arrested. So all of this stuff is not alleged. It happens. It's
Reuse of
real.
alleged.
The point, you know, I get what you're saying, and I want to make sure that, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I knew that this
Yeah, I
was
don't
going to come up. So, but what I said was, and I was really doing it as a backstop and to protect the Commerce Committee from a libel suit, or the board from a libel suit, right? But they can come back and say, you know, these guys are making these false claims, and they're saying that we did X, Y, and Z, and you know, then the burden of
They
proof
can't
is on
say
us.
that. They can't. They can't
But
say that.
I hear what you're saying, but I just put it in, and I
Hassan?
understand it's about perception, right? Yes.
Hassan, what are
Yes.
the exact charges as stated?
Well, you guys, we can't go through each of them now because I don't think that's a really
No,
good
what I
use of
want to
time.
say is, if we have the charges, you have to do is send them out to the members, let them read it.
Yeah, and and have you guys read it, which I'm fine with. But then if we do this, we have to get there has to be a real tight turnaround. I want to get the letter out by tomorrow at the latest. So I'll send out what I have, what
I would prefer
Margarita
you
sent over to me.
just leave the words in there. I don't want to spend
No,
any
but
more
see,
time on it.
but I understand. But yes, ma'am. Who's that?
Ms. Hazel Martinez.
Yes.
As someone already said, why can't you just quote what was said in these affidavits? I personally don't like the word alleged. And
I know you don't.
You should
I know you
just say,
don't.
as stated in these things, so that it's the burden is not on the board. It's the fact it's already been stated in these legal documents already. These court documents.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Charges.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. I think I don't have a problem with taking that out, taking the word alleged out, and put in as stated in the testimony from whatever. So I have no
Well,
problem with
that's
that.
also in the letter too, because I say see documents, and I had
Yeah.
connected all the documents to it. So
She
all
sure
the
has.
information
She
is
absolutely
there.
did that. Yeah, she sure has.
We
So we'll do that, guys. We'll do that. I'll redraft the letter. All right. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it because you know, because we do have
Hassan,
one
there were
other
a
issue
couple of
to
other
talk about.
things. There were a couple other things with the letter I just wanted to go over.
Okay, go
Besides
ahead.
those words, because I sent you
There's
back
hold on a
an
second.
edited letter.
There's a lot of background noise coming from
Miss Bellin.
347. Miss Bellin, you've got to mute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, Miss Bellin, mute yourself.
You're not going to the tin? You're not going to the tin? No.
Miss Bellin, can you mute yourself, please? Oh my
Hassan,
goodness, Miss
can
Bellin.
you mute her?
No, I can't mute her. That's what I'm trying to do, but I can't. Miss Bellin.
She can't hear us.
Miss Bellin. Oh, now it sounds like she muted herself. Okay, so
Okay,
good.
so there were just a couple of more things. I sent you and I edited my version and sent it back to you.
Yep.
So besides that, there were just two other things because there was another shooting there
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Saturday night.
Right, you
So
mentioned that.
I
Right.
want to add that to the letter.
Okay.
And then if we're going to send it to the judge, then I think we have to rephrase that paragraph
Which one?
that refers to her, because it refers to her as if we're sending the letter to someone else. So I think we need to rejigger that paragraph.
Oh, you mean you said the last paragraph?
The paragraph that mentions the judge's name, and it says
Right.
it's speaking. I don't have the letter in front of me, but
That's okay.
it's speaking to her.
Oh, right. It talks about
It's
Judge
speaking
Patria.
about her.
Patria
Yeah,
Colon.
but
Right.
if we're going to send it to her, then we have to figure out a way to say that without making her like a third party there.
Right. Well, I mean, but it's right. And do we know that she's going to be the judge on this again?
I think
Did
so.
we?
Yeah, it's part 80
Okay.
of the Brooklyn Supreme. I'm pretty sure that's what Daniel sent me that information from.
Okay. Fair enough. So
judge.
then that's fine. Okay. So I can change that. That's not a problem. I hear what you're saying. That makes sense. Great. So then that's good. Okay. Was that the last thing?
I think so. Just adding that last shooting.
Okay. Yeah, which is the key, which is really key.
Yeah, and then so there was one line in there too, but it's in my edit. And in my email that it should go at the end because it sounds more definitive at the end of the letter than somewhere floating in the middle.
Right. This says this business should
don't-
not be in a residential area, nor should it be allowed to continue to operate illegally anywhere.
Yeah, something like that. I think that should be at the end. Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Okay, I could do that. Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. Okay, awesome. Great. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for kind of talking. Go ahead, George. You were saying something?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the letter. It says something about attached court documents. Margaret, what do you mean by that? Is it with a question mark?
Yeah, there are a number of documents that we're going to be sending over with this letter that Marguerite has provided for us that actually came from Daniel, right? Most of them came from Daniel, right? I think. So we'll be sending that along, supporting documentation along with the letter.
Okay, and again, I just want to be clear. This letter is going to George Colon.
Right. Well, that's what I was just asking Marguerite, and I think she said it was. We just need to confirm that because that's why I left. If you notice the top of the letter, I left the top who it was going to first because I wasn't sure if it was going directly to her or if it was going to another judge. I wasn't sure about that.
Okay, and she's the one who first closed it and then reopened it. Marguerite?
Are you still there, Marguerite?
Yeah, sorry, I had to unmute. Yes, it was her court originally. And then there's so then she closed them down. Then she said they could reopen. And now this new hearing is in her court. Unless that changes, as of now, that's where it is.
Right.
Yeah, but,
that's cool.
Okay, yeah, because what I'm a little confused is like she closed them down, but without another hearing, she reopened it. She let them reopen.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't know the details exactly. You have to read through all that crap.
Yeah,
Again.
but I think she said they can reopen without serving alcohol, right? Isn't that what you
Yeah,
said?
and I think she and I think she was like giving them a grace period or something. But now obviously since then they're still doing it. But she had another hearing set up for April.
Yeah.
And I guess they were going to see if they were on their good behavior and then give them another hearing. I don't really know what her thought process was.
Right.
So, but there is another hearing. So,
well, I mean, I can tell you with that recent shooting, if you said it happened in front of their location, then that should be enough right there to.
That's 3, right?
Yeah. That would be enough for me.
There was a stabbing in there.
And there was a stabbing too. Yeah, she said it was a stabbing in there too. Yeah, so that's enough for me.
The broader thing is that the problem is the hearing it's complicated because they brought the building owner. They charge the building owner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what.
So it's not
that's
the
right.
owner,
That
it's
should
not the
be.
people that run the club, right? So it's not the
Yeah, that
people
should
that
be
run the
right.
club,
They
right?
absolutely should be bringing it to him because he owns the building. He actually is renting the
Right.
space to them. I'm assuming that's what's happening. So he is
Right.
liable. Made sense.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
I would,
that's
yeah.
the other thing. That was one more thing. I'm sorry to add this one more thing, but I think I put that in the edit too, that we have to add that other address because the
Next
other
door.
address is
Yes,
attached. It's all the same building, and the
yes.
311 calls
Yeah.
have been coming in. They came in for both addresses because Bracci owns the whole thing, and he rented it out. He rented both both spaces out to the guy, and the
Hmm.
guy is using both addresses for the club.
They're connected.
Right.
So I think just to
Right.
be, to be real, to cover all our bases, we should put both addresses in there.
Didn't
Right.
they
And go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys.
didn't they deny that they were connected at one point? Because the restaurant next door came once for a liquor license, but they never returned to complete the process.
Yeah, that's the other. That's the
Yeah.
that's a different part of the building. This is the
Yeah.
There's a little auto body shop on
Yeah.
the 49th Street
Right.
part, not on the Utica Avenue part.
Yeah.
Right.
And that little space is there's a door that connects them, and he has the door open, and that's part of the club.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So
Yep.
so that's the address on Utica Avenue is what we need to get. Okay, to add that.
No,
Okay.
I think
No,
it's
no,
on
no,
the,
no, no.
no,
It's
East
not
49.
Utica
It's not?
Avenue.
49.
This
It's
East
on
49th. I
Farragut?
gave no, Hassan. I gave you the address. There's the Farragut Road address, which is 4902 Farragut Road,
Right.
and then there's the East 49th Street address, which I sent to you, but I can't remember the number. It's like
Okay.
98 something or 99. No, it's
No
probably
problem.
9 something.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up because they're all on the
I can
tax
look it
deed
up.
sale.
Yeah.
No, I
Entire.
have it. I have it. I sent
No,
it to you. I can give it to you
no,
right now.
I'll find it. It's okay. I'll look.
Okay,
I'll
because
find it.
I sent you the 311 complaints for that address also.
Yes, you did. You
So
did. No
there's
problem. I can
311
add those.
complaints
I
for
can
both
add that.
addresses.
I can
Yeah,
add that.
that's it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a
So
lot.
yeah, no problem. So I just want to move on from this, guys, because I just have one more thing that we have to discuss really quickly, and it is all of the things that Ms. Martinez has been dealing with over there on Clarendon Road. Hazel, I know you sent me an email, so I'm going to be going through. I just want to put on a record. I'm going to be going through that this week. Get back to you so we can have a plan of action and set up the our meeting with the agencies and whatnot at Wyckoff and all of that as well. Okay. So
sent
I
you
know
the-
yes.
Sorry, the email I sent you the email. I sent you some proposed dates. They're probably no good anymore, but I also sent you a list of the various businesses and the whatever contact information I had at that point.
Gotcha.
Just to-
No problem. Okay. Sounds cool. All right.
and
So so I will get that to you this week and respond to your email. Okay. And so we can have a plan of action and move forward on this as well, because we need to get these issues resolved. All right. Okay, great. So I know we have been on this phone on our call this evening a little longer than normal. But I do want to I appreciate you guys going through this exercise and really talking this through, because sometimes it takes a little longer to go through these things. And I appreciate your input. And committee members, I appreciate your patience with both of these issues, because I know we've been talking about it. Both Hazel and Marguerite have been talking about it, and they sometimes they sound a little bit exasperated, but they've been dealing with these situations for far too long and have not gotten any results. And it seems that they're only getting worse. So as you heard this evening, they are. So we want to try to help the situation, is what we do as a Commerce Committee. So I will do my part, so we can all do our parts. I do need to have a meeting with the Commerce Subcommittee before I ask a motion to adjourn over the next week or two, because there are a number of things that we need to start working on with regard to some of the that we're putting on and where we are in the process. So I will send out some dates. Please let me know if the dates work or if they don't work. If a Sunday's better for you, if a Saturday's better for you, let me know. All right. And I will text you as well. So I won't just send an email. I will text all of you. All right.
Okay.
Okay, great. So can I ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting from someone?
Yes. One more
Can
thing
I
you
just
said.
ask
Oh.
him one more question? What is the address of Lennox Road for tomorrow? The exact address?
395
Do
Lennox
you
Road.
know? 395?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. Who else was speaking? Someone else said they had
Mhm.
something else.
I had my hand, but I had to take it down. What should I give up? No, I was going to say is that place on Avenue D in Utica is back open
Yes.
again.
Oh yeah, the place over there by Mr. LaPierre's store, the wheat shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a whole, and that's something that we have to talk about in the subcommittee too, because there's a whole situation with that. But yes, I know. I was over there by Mr. LaPierre about a week ago, and we were talking about that. So I don't want to bore you with all, but it's not a good story. But we need to redouble. They need to redouble our efforts over there because yeah, it's not a good look at all. It's not a good look at all. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Community, nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. So can I ask one of our wonderful Commerce Committee members to make adjournment to adjourn our meeting this evening? Can I get a motion for that, please?
Adele Bennett, motion to adjourn.
I
And
second.
can I get a second?
I second.
All right. All right. So thank you guys again. I will let you go and give you back your evening.